High-grade Gundam Age-FX. Hey, what's up again, everybody? It's Robert, one of you for 2Rs, 2Bs, Gundam Reviews.net, and you've already seen the unbox for the Gundam Age-FX 4th lead of Gundam Age. I can't believe we're already saying 4th. Nonetheless, it's time to take a look at this. Very cool. There's some great looking parts here. Nonetheless, how does it work all together? Let's check it out. First, it's a good thing this is going to be attached onto somebody's shoulders or it might get forgotten, but taking a look at the head, you can see the seam line there in the middle. Two large white pieces, front and back, but where you get something new is this anti-commander's antenna here that's sticking out in the back, made out of that nice purple there, and you can actually see some cool looking seal that wraps all around there. But the most important thing has to be the front, where you've got the black lining possibilities there, and on the front, if you want to go with one of the stranger faces in all of Gundam, it looks like you've got some pretty thin line there in the middle, some thicker ones off to the side. The important part being is that at the very beginning, I thought this was going to be blue on blue, and wondered why they gave you two parts, but the fact that you're getting that little bit of purple there, and if you cut off these things so you can actually put out your eye with this, it's looking very cool, although very unique, and I'm probably a bigger fan of the traditional face guard. Nonetheless, they broke the mold, and it's not all that bad. And when he's all put together, although I shouldn't really say all, what do you think of that? Just in terms of pure aesthetics, I really like the color scheme. The blue on the white with that little tiny bit of yellow in terms of the chest vents and on the back of the legs that granted you're probably only going to see if it's spinning around there. Big fan of the way the manipulators look there, and if you take the time to put the black on there and the green, I think that these four colors that we're getting on here with the green sort of replacing the red is pretty cool just as is. These thrusters on the back really do protrude there, but the fact that you can move them around is great, and that purple and blue combo is looking great, but you know that there's so much more to 14 sea funnels of gaudiness. And I gotta say that for me, I think it really works. If this guy was a master grade next to all the other leads on the shelf, you know that he would really stand out because of those clear parts. Not a lot of Gundams have utilized them to the same extent this guy does, and I think that he went from being a cool looking, if somewhat unremarkable, version of the new to all of a sudden when you put on those fin funnels on the back, he's going to look like a lot more fun. Where are they? Well, you've got the long ones here are all going to be facing down between the core fighter, the shoulders, and on the side skirts, and otherwise you've got these forearm ones that are coming backwards, anti-Wolverine style, off to the sides here, down on the front, and out on the back. You do have to be careful. I've had a couple fall off on me just in the process of putting these on, but certainly looks like a lot of fun, and we haven't even touched the black light yet. To posability now, and I'm going to keep the sea funnels in here and just see how many fall off naturally. Legs forward kick like that, and you're going to get that great bend showing off all the best parts of the white and the gray there. Really a fantastic mechanism, and something I hope we continue to see even more in the future. Side skirts are going to go up this much, and you can do the splits. Remember that that part there is going to move, so full splits there, no problems, and nothing's fallen off yet for the lower body. For the upper body, you're going to be able to spin these around here, but of course these ones on the back are going to get in the way. You can spin the arms around all the way, no issues there so far whatsoever. And then you can bend the elbows up. You're going to get over a 135, I'd say. He can twist his arm at the shoulder to say hello. Remember that the shoulders themselves are actually going to move around in there. And moving on to the back, it's cool that you're going to have this core fighter. You'll see that this gray part is going to move up and down, but then you've also got these blue and white parts that are independently swiveling, so you can have some pretty interesting dynamic poses there. And the head is just going to be on a regular PC6, I believe, so that's going to just move up and down about that much. Flat feet off to the sides are ridiculous 00 levels here. And front to back, he's no slouch either. Height comparison now, where you can see that even though it is the 4th generation of these Age leads, that it's not going to be that much bigger than the RX-78 2 Age 1 homage there, as you would expect a new homage to be. And Pirate Dad Luffy Asamash there in his Age 2 Dark Hound. This is the high grade. You can see that they're really not all that much to give here. Bigger shoulders there, and certainly wings here are going to be sticking out on this side. If you have the weapons, though, added on to the FX, you know that it would stack up in total size overall, but pretty similar. Before we see Kyo's Age 3 here, this is sort of normal that the protagonist of Gundam is going to have two leads in it. I suppose this is the first and second half for Kyo if you want to think of it that way. But in terms of legs, he's got bulkier ones, or so it would seem on the H3. The shoulders are certainly going to stick off more to the side, and that core fighter on the back is massive, but nonetheless, those green things sticking out all over the place, very similar vibe to this one. In terms of size, though, definitely not a monster for the FX. And so what is the extra money going to get you in terms of color applications there? Well, you've got some white feet there as opposed to the blue. They both got blue on the back of the calves, which is cool. Gray inner frame showing on the legs there. The big difference is just going to be the fact that you've got these blue seals that are going to stick on there, as well as the purple parts. So over here, you're just going to see these ones are all green compared to those ones there on the high grade. And outside of that, this advanced grade just does an amazing job of capturing all those colors. Remember, it's got the gray and the green without having to put on any of the effort. Really, the only one that really stands out is the fact that he has purple here missing on the V-fin, and actually he's got some gray on the inside of the neck. Very impressive here, advanced grade. Now for the design, with all these C-funnels sort of being a love it or hate it kind of thing, I would say for some people, nonetheless, everybody can agree that the posability seems to be fantastic, as you saw earlier with the flat foot test. The fact that you're going to be getting the 5 different manipulators there, and the beam rifle is still going to look good in hand. Just again, these things are probably going to fall off along the way once in a while. And this is something here that I didn't really expect to enjoy this much. When you take a look around the box and inside the instruction manual, they only show off the bazooka in one small panel. Obviously not the focus when he's got 14 of those green things to shoot off all over the place and the support to hold it in place. Nonetheless, the fact that there's no weight issues with this, and I've worked with a lot of Gundam bazookas just in terms of posing them for these videos, and how many times do they not work over the shoulder? In this case, just because the arm is straight, it's going to work out really well, but this has got to be one of the best of the larger weapons that I think any Gundam has ever had in practice. But as soon as the praise is given, I tried to bring the bazooka across the body, and instead it just collapsed downwards, not to mention the fact that these continue to rain. And almost everything I've tried since is just going to result in the bazooka falling down. But one little bonus here of this action stand that he was just up on is the fact that you can detach the core fighter and have it up there whooshing around, including with some C-funnels sticking out of the back. You could have 2 or 4. And here I was all ready to make a joke about Dad not being there to teach son how to play catch, but at least he could just lend him some beam sabers, which Bandai was too cheap to include, to attach into the forearms, but a little bit of bad luck there, because the ends of these forearms clearly were not built for beam sabers to fit into. They go in, but they're certainly not going to stay in except at an awkward angle. At best, they were built for C-funnels to be coming forward, even though everything else in the promotional material is telling you to put them out the back of the arms. But ultimately, the whole reason why anybody would want to buy Kyo's Age-FX, I think, is not going to be the bazooka, but the fact that it comes with this aerial stand, and he has his C-funnels, and he can say, "Go, Fangs." And this is definitely where the fun is going to start, because if you work your way around here, you've got room for all 14 of the C-funnels. You can put small, big, or if you go back to the Simpsons movie, line up the big guys next to the small guys to make them look more intimidating. But in terms of this, one of the favorite poses that I've just seen here, or when I've just been trying this fiddling around, is that you've got most of the C-funnels, just keep the ones that are exposed on, and take the ones that are going to be hidden on the back, even the ones over the shoulders, behind the forearms, back there on the core fighter, and use those to put them on the ring. And depending on what angle you're displaying it on your shelf, certainly it's going to look cool, and he still looks like he has a bunch on his body, in addition to the one zipping around. But now this is almost the exact same pose with all of the C-funnels removed from there. And like I said, he's not going to be that remarkable without them in, but I still think he looks really good with that color combination of blue, yellow, and purple. And with the 14 in the background, this is definitely not the wings of the Strike Freedom. Never mind the fact Strike Freedom missing those blue effect parts that really should have been in there on the more expensive Master Grade, but I digress. This is as cool as it's going to get in terms of deploying fin funnels, fangs, or anything flying like that, I think. And though my pose here leaves a lot to be desired, the fact that you can take this clear part and bend it down at various angles and still have it well locked into place means that the Stargazer Gundam can eat its heart out. The way that this one can use the rings is just going to be fantastic. It would have been nice, we've already got all these options just in terms of the 14 points to attach them on. However, if you had wanted to create a sort of a lock-on type shield, if they had some places where you could have put them even closer, that would have been even better, but nonetheless, even without a weapon in hand and the hand out there just looking dynamic, punching the air to one side and just saying EK with the other one, I think that this is going to be a winner just for the tons of options that you have with it. And for the proverbial cherry on top, let's bring out the black light. Here it is at the same distance from the figure that my camera is, and look at the way those C-finals are going to light up. If I bring it down or bring it closer to the Gundam or actually on top, that is looking pretty impressive between the white of the Gundam and that glowing green, which is just the ultimate topping, I'd say. So that's going to wrap up my look at the mobile suit mode. There's even more poses available. I'm sure you can see some of those all over the internet. Nonetheless, why don't you stick around for my final verdict where you can see the good, the bad, and the ugly, in my eyes anyway, and add your own comments. Always love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, everybody. See ya. I think right now, Zayhart has fluorescent envy.